everyone. This is Chala Dincoy, CEO and founder of The Repositioning Expert. I'm here with another edition of my podcast, Naked Marketing, where Adam Connors is going to get naked and honest with his mistakes. But first, let's meet him. How are you, Adam?
I'm well. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to having some fun and sharing a lot of mistakes.
Oh, good. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
We love people like you. All right. So tell us who you help and what you do for a living, Adam.
Well, I'm still trying to figure that one out. So no, but in all seriousness, I'm the founder and CEO of a company called NetWorkWise, and we've created a platform that expedites outcomes for people in their careers, in sales, and in entrepreneurial endeavors by teaching them how to professionally network.
Wow.
Yeah. So you asked about who I serve, and let me ask you. I'm going to ask you a couple questions, or maybe I'll.
Oh, this never happened before. Okay. Our first today.
All right. Well, prior to starting your company, I'm sure that you had to get a job at somewhere along the way. Mm-hmm. Did you get a job through an ad, or or maybe even the majority of your jobs, did they come through your networks? Headhunters. Really? Okay. So you fall within a small percentage. The majority of people, let's say it's between 76 to 95% of people get their jobs through their networks. And the farther you are along in your career, the higher that percentage goes. So that's one area that we serve. Okay, you are a business owner. You started your business, Chala, when your accountant. How did you get your accountant?
Word of mouth.
Okay. How about your lawyer?
Word of mouth. You're right. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I'm going to assume your first few customers were also through your word of mouth.
Yeah. Well, it was networking. So does that count?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
It was network. Yeah. Like networking events. I would go to networking.
100%. Those are network. Yeah. How about, I don't know, the last book or movie that you watched, read? How'd you find out about it?
Well, so the interesting thing is I see it, but then I go back to peer reviews to see if it's worth watching, right? So again, the network is really, really important.
I mean, I can go down the range. I mean, home ownership. I don't know if you own a home, but you start thinking about, the realtor that you found. Again, getting back to the lawyer that you use. All the things that you think about, these are going to come from your networks. How about dating? I mean, again, I don't want to not to get too personal, but even the dating scene is dramatically improved with optionality. And optionality comes from having, some of the best and tried and true relationships come through friends of friends, which is a sphere of influence that's part of your network. I mean, if you think about it, again, advice on any massive life event, you need a healthcare expert. You need, anything, a doctor, lawyer, like we talked about. So that's my long way of saying, essentially, and again, it's going to lead into what we're going to talk about today. We all need networks. I service anybody who is looking to do something faster, easier, and better. And you do that through having more social capital, which is what I essentially teach people how to do. Build networks, professional networks, and personal.
Is it, like you said, it's a platform. So is it like a BNI, or is it like online virtual? You run the networking events? Like, how does it work?
A great question. So we do have online courses that people can take, something called the Careers Through Connections. We also have something on, how to network at an event. So like you said, you went to a networking event. We teach people how to do that, again, through video. Also, organizations hire us to come in and do training. So we do a decent amount of that. And then we also have a certification So we've set the gold standard on what it means to network, or what we like to say, don't just network, NetWorkWise. So we've created a program where people can go through and then they can become NetWorkWise certified, which essentially validates them taking their relationship serious and showing that they really at least have a really strong baseline foundation of how to build strong relationships.
I love that. So you know that this is a marketing show and we're talking about marketing mistakes, but what is the number one networking mistake that people make?
They don't do it. They don't understand it.
Wow.
They have a false, and it's everybody, excuse me, I've just got something stuck in my throat. Everybody tells you how important, how essential it is, but no one teaches you how to do it right. So most people, I kind of look at it as like a malignant networking understanding. It's like a virus. So I kind of think of myself almost as a technician that has to go in and rid people of the virus. That is their current state of understanding what networking is. So, and then once I'm able to do that and teach people what it really is, they feel so much better about networking. They don't feel slimy. It's not going to these networking events and handing out cards and selling. That's the antithesis. It's really about understanding and taking a proactive approach to relationship development with the ultimate goal, Chala, of benefiting another person. So when you really understand what that's all about, it changes things. And I give people examples. I help people with strategies, ways of thinking, mindset, and it just completely changes the dynamic of the types of relationships that you already have when you know how to build them stronger, but also the way that you can go into new relationships. So again, my long answer to your short question.
I can tell that you're like very personable and, warm personality. So how did you get into this business? Was it because you were so good at networking and you decided to start a company consulting?
Well, that's a great question. I got in through a variety of different, I'll take you back. I've done a lot of really cool things in my life. I've entrepreneur. I've been in multiple industries. I've been in recruiting. I've been in Wall Street. I've been in litigation funding. I've owned an insurance agency. I owned a career coaching business. I owned a resume writing business. I've been involved in cannabis. I lent money to athletes and entertainers. I've done all these really cool things, and I am not qualified to do one of them. None, like zero. And I'm not trying to be funny. That's just, it is what it is. My IQ is average. I've been tested multiple times. I tried to be harder.
Why would you do that? Okay.
I had learning disabilities growing up. So then they test you and stuff. And then, along the way, you just, as a competitive person, you want to get better. And it's just, I haven't.
So then how did you get in?
Relationships, every single thing that I've done, it's people, because if you know how to build trust is the holy grail. And through getting to know people, taking a proactive approach to my relationships, building deep connections with people and helping people, they trusted me. So when opportunities came up, I'm usually the first call, and it's a first call to, maybe I know somebody, which I've done. So anyways, then fast forward, I've done all these really cool things. Something very bad happened to me. I'd rather not say it's something very bad happened, but I was in a position that I had loads of people that came in and really helped me. And I think that a lesser person might not be on this planet anymore. Bad things. So anyways, I was reflecting on, okay, what am I going to do next? And through the course of multiple conversations, people are always saying, well, again, how'd you get those jobs? How did you get to travel in some of the places that you've traveled, what you've done, the things you've done for your kids, all these kinds of things. And it came down to my networks and realizing that very few people have the networks, let alone understand them. And I'm thinking, man, if a guy with this face, with that IQ can do some of the things that I have been able to do, if I'm able to share that with other people, my God, they can be dangerous and the world can be a better place. So that's what spawned the NetWorkWise.
Okay, now here's the naked marketing question. You ready?
Go for it.
What was the most expensive marketing mistake you made?
Okay. Very hard to quantify one because I've done a million. if I had to break it down, I would say that it was hiring interns to build and run a social media platform. And and I should follow my own advice. I tell people all the time that there is a high cost to a low price. Well, there is. And when you bring people in that don't necessarily know what they're doing, it costs you a lot of things, time, money. I mean, I could just keep on going down the line.
And when we were talking earlier, you were actually saying that this was you put it under the umbrella of not hiring a professional marketer. So what made you do that? Because there's so many people watching in that boat. What caused you to do that?
I was just being cost conscious, and I also discounted the importance that a professional plays in what they do. You got to stay in your lane. And I tell people that all the time. I was just being a hypocrite, really. So I was being cost conscious. I thought that it would be cheaper. I also thought that someone, maybe when you're getting an intern, I just assumed they would be more in tune with what's going on, as opposed to this old guy who's very removed and really not hip with social media. So I thought they would come in, have an advantage. They'd be able to help jumpstart me, get me rolling, so that I could then bring on, a professional. Yeah, not the case.
Understood. Totally understood. And, even though I'm a marketer, I've had to hire my own coaches, and I wanted to hire the best because I wanted to get to where they are fast, because I started my career when I was pretty old. So then like you, I was really, really scared, because I come from a Turkish background with a name like Chala Dincoy, and I had poverty mentality like crazy. That my parents taught me, you don't spend money you don't have. And I didn't have a lot of money because I started my business. So what I learned from really successful coaches is you make the decision of spending or not spending out of the same mindset that got you to where you are, and you don't spend out of where you want to be, you're never going to change your income. And that's what they told me. And I quadrupled my income in the year that I hired my first personal coach. It was crazy.
I love that story. And I love to hear that you brought on a coach, and I don't know why everybody doesn't have a coach, or even coaches. I mean, look at some of the top people in the world. They have coaches, they didn't get there by themselves.
Yeah. But the story is that it was a coach for doing what I do. Like, it was like I had to sort of get over myself and say, okay, I can do it for other people, but I don't know how to do it for myself. It was really, so this is really, really helping a lot of people. So do you have any parting advice about marketing before I let you go?
Yeah. Stay in your lane. It's true. Stay in your lane. Like it's really, it's great advice. So one of the beauties of also just like a network, you surround yourself, with the weakness of the individual becomes just the strength, or the strength of the group complements the weakness of the individual. So stay in your lane, know what you're good at, focus on what you can do, double down on your strengths, and you'll do better. And then you hire on that other person who's doubling down on their strengths, which is the marketing, the social media, and you'll be okay.
That's awesome. Now, where could people reach you, Adam?
Best place is through my website, and that's networkwise.com. All one word, NetWorkwise.com.
Oh, two simple words put together.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you for being my guest, Adam.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.